moments in apocalypse where survival feels like progress, and then there are moments where survival becomes punishment. This night was the second kind. The road is silent, but not peaceful. The trees stand like witnesses. The moonlight feels cold, almost judgmental. A group of survivors kneel in a straight line with baskets, hands behind their heads, knees digging into gravel, breathing loud enough to give them away. They have fought the dead. They have lost friends. They have killed to protect one another. But none of that prepared them for this, because the danger stands before them is not blindness. He smiles. He jokes. He takes his time. He steps forward like a performer, walking onto a stage. Leather jacket, red scarf, a baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire, resting easily on his shoulder like it belongs there. This is not chaos. This is control. He circles him slowly, boots crunching against the road, humming, talking, teasing. His voice is calm, almost friendly. That's what makes it terrifying. He explains the rules the way a teacher explains a lesson already decided. You crossed us. You killed our people. Now I'm going to kill you. No negotiation. No escape. No mercy. Group doesn't cry yet. Shock freezes. One man clenches his jaw, trying to stay strong for the others. Another stares at the ground, lips trembling. A young man glances toward him, terror barely contained. A pregnant woman breathes shallowly, afraid even to inhale too loudly. The bat taps against the ground. Once, twice, a countdown without numbers. The leader talks about tomorrow, about how they'll work for him, about how he'll keep them alive. And that's the cruelest part. He doesn't want them dead. He wants them broken. The camera of the mind lingers on faces. The man who once believed strength could protect his family. The man who believed kindness could survive the end war. The leader who thought sacrifice had already cost him everything. They are wrong. The worst sacrifice hasn't happened yet. The bat stops. The name is chosen. Not because of fate. Not because of fairness. Because cruelty doesn't need a reason. Rodney Smith barely has time to react. 1 second he's kneeling. The next, the bat swings. The sound is not loud like it usually is. It's dull. Heavy. Final. The group flinches as one. Shock turns to screaming. Rodney doesn't scream. Even as the world fades, he lifts his head, eyes burning with defiance. He says one last thing. A curse. A challenge. A refusal to submit. It's brave. And it costs him everything. The bat falls again. And when it's over, Rodney Smith lies still on the road, his strength finally spent. The silence afterward is worse than violence. Because now they understand. This is real. Tears break free. Someone sobs openly. Someone whispers his name. Someone stares into nothing. The leader smiles again. He tells them that was it. That they've learned the lesson. The leaf flickers. Just for a second. That second is a mistake. Because cruelty like this is never satisfied. The bat rises again. Another choice is made. This time it's Jack Edwards. The young man who survived through cleverness, through heart, through hope. The one who believed the world can still be rebuilt. His wife screams for him. She begs. She breaks. Jack turns his head just enough to look at her. Fear fills his eyes. But so does love. He tries to speak. Tries to reassure her. Even now, the bat comes down. Once. Then again. The group watches, powerless, as the man is taken from piece by piece. The leader leans close, mocking, narrating the moment like it's entertainment. Jack's final words are soft. Not about pain. Not about fear. About his wife. About their unborn child. And then, silence. Not just the silence of death, but the silence of something the road feels colder. The night darker. The survivors don't just lose 2 people. They lose the belief that being good is enough. They lose the idea that leadership means protection. They lose the illusion that tomorrow belongs to them. The man with the bat gives his final instructions. They will work for him. They will kneel. They will remember this night. Because he will. Every time they look at him, they'll see Rodney Smith. They'll see Jack Edwards. They'll feel that bat coming down as they're forced to leave the body behind. Something changes inside them. This isn't the apocalypse anymore. This is a kingdom, and they are no longer survivors. They are subjects. Season 7 does not begin with love. It begins with obedience and knowledge that sometimes the dead are not the ones who are. Morning comes without mercy. The sun rises the same way it always has, as if nothing happened the night before, as if two lives were not a race on a strip of road that still smells like fear. The survivors walk, not together, not apart, just forward. No one speaks. Every footstep sounds too loud, like the world itself might hear and punish them for it. The forest closes in on both sides of the road, tall and quiet, watching. It feels wrong that birds are singing. It feels wrong that the dead are still dead, because something worse is alive now, and it owns them. They carry more than backpacks. They carry instructions. They were told where to go, when to move, when to stop, and most importantly, when not to think. The leader with the bat did not need to follow them. His voice followed them instead, a memory lodged in the skull, a reminder that punishment does not need to be present to be effective. Fear works best when it learns to walk on its own. Every shadow feels intentional. Every sound feels like a test. A snapping branch sends hearts racing. A rustle in the bushes tightens hands around weapons they are no longer sure they're allowed to use. They are armed, but powerless. That contradiction eats at them. They were once hunters in this world. Now they're livestock being guided to a pen they have not seen yet. They don't know the name of the place, only that it exists. A settlement built on fear, not hope. Order enforced not by walls, but by consequences. The leader promised safety, but safety, they are learning, can be another word for prison. Somewhere ahead of them is a gate. Somewhere behind that gate is a future already decided. And something in the air says, once you pass through, you don't come back the same. The man who once stood tallest begins to fold inward. He doesn't cry. That would be easier. Instead, he stares too long at nothing. He hears voices that aren't there. Sees the bat swing, even when no one is holding it. Leadership has become a curse, because leaders remember every face they failed. And two of those faces now walk beside him only in memory. Rodney Smith, Jack Edwards, names that echo louder than gunshots. The road opens up, and there it is. Fences, guard towers, people walking calmly inside, like the apocalypse never happened to them. It looks peaceful. That's what makes it terrifying, because peace built this way is never free. Men with guns watch from above. They don't shout. They don't rush. They don't need to. Control doesn't panic. They're made to enter slowly, made to feel small. Every eye inside the walls watches them. Some curious, some amused, some bored. These people have seen this before. That realization cuts deeper than any wound. The leader with the bat appears again. Relaxed, smiling. He welcomes them like guests and explains the rules again. Not because they forgot, but because repetition makes obedience permanent. Before they're allowed to rest, before they're allowed to eat, before they're allowed to grieve, they are shown something. A demonstration. A reminder that resistance is not brave here. It is expensive. The leader leans close and speaks softly. Not to threaten, to educate. He explains that the world only works when everyone knows their place. And theirs is at the bottom, as the gates close behind them. One truth settles in like a sickness. The apocalypse did not end society. It perfected it. They survived the dead. They survived the night. But now, they must survive being owned. And that is a different kind of horror. The settlement wakes before the sun. Not because people want to, because bells ring. Metal against metal. Sharp, commanding. Sound used as a leash. The survivors open their eyes to ceilings they didn't choose, floors that don't belong to them, and rules they didn't agree to, but must obey. This place doesn't feel alive. It feels maintained, like a machine that runs on fear instead of fuel. No one screams here. That's the first thing they notice. Punishment doesn't need noise. It happens calmly, privately, efficiently. Someone disappears for an hour. They come back quieter. Someone questions an order. They stop questioning forever. The lesson spreads without explanation. Fear works best when it teaches itself. The man who once gave speeches now whispers to himself. He avoids eye contact. He hesitates before speaking. He flinches when doors open too fast. Leadership has been stripped down to survival. Every decision now comes with a calculation. Will this cause someone else? Will it cost him? The guilt is heavier than the chains. The leader with the bat doesn't shout. He laughs. He explains pain like it's a business model. You work. You fail. Someone pays. Not always you. That's how he keeps them compliant. Cruelty shared is cruelty multiplied. The walls feel closer every day. The sky feels smaller. Even the dead outside the fence seem freer than the living inside. At night, lights stay on. Sleep is optional. Obedience is not. Dreams become memories of who they used to be, and nightmares of who they're becoming. Something is changing, not loudly. Quiet resistance. A glance held too long. A task delayed just a second more than necessary. A whispered name from the past. Jack Edwards. Rodney Smith. Memory becomes rebellion. And rebellion, here, is deadly. There's a chance. Not a plan. Just a moment where things could go different. But fear hesitates. And hesitation is noticed. The leader smiles. Because he already knew. Hope is always easier to spot than courage. No one dies tonight. That's the cruelty. They go back to their beds. They eat. They breathe. And something inside them finally gives up. Breaking isn't loud. It doesn't announce itself. It happens quietly. The moment you stop imagining a way out. The dead outside the walls rot. The living inside the walls learn. And learning here is the most painful thing of all. Fear does not arrive screaming. It arrives quietly, and then it stays. The settlement breathes like a living thing. Fences hum softly in the wind. Loose metal taps in a regular rhythm. Somewhere far away, something drags across concrete. The survivors wake before the bell now. Not because they want to, because their bodies no longer trust sleep. Sleep means vulnerability, and vulnerability here is noticed. There's something wrong with the air. It feels rehearsed. People move when they're supposed to, stop when they're supposed to, lower their eyes without being told. No one runs. No one argues. No one asks why. The settlement has taught them something subtle and irreversible. Punishment does not need to be seen to be effective. It only needs to be possible. The punishments escalate, but not the way anyone expects. No public beatings. No executions. No screaming. Instead, time is taken. A woman is forced to stand all night under the lights, not touched, not spoken to, just watched. A man is made to repeat a task until his hands bleed. Not because it's wrong, but because it's almost right. Another is separated from the group for days, alone in a room with nothing but silence and the sound of walkers scratching somewhere beneath the floor. When they return, they're obedient. Perfectly so. The man with the bat rarely appears now. He doesn't need to. Fear has learned to imitate his voice. When he does show up, it's casual. He laughs. He jokes. He leans close and whispers instead of shouting. This place, he says once, almost kindly, runs itself now. And he's right. That's the most terrifying part. Then comes the twist. The punishment that changes everything. They are told to choose. Not who dies, not who is hurt, who deserves correction. At first, no one speaks. Silence stretches. The leader waits, because he knows someone always breaks first. A name is spoken, then another, not out of cruelty, out of fear. And in that moment, the survivors understand the true shape of obedience. It turns victims into enforcers. The system no longer needs guards. It has them. That night, no one sleeps. They replay the moment again and again. The hesitation, the name spoken, the look on the other person's face. This punishment leaves no marks. Only memory, only shame. And shame, unlike pain, does not heal. Something dangerous happens. Not anger. Clarity. They realize the system feeds on fear, but chokes on solidarity. The smallest rebellion begins. A task done incorrectly on purpose. Food shared when it shouldn't be. Eyes meeting and not dropping. Tiny things. Invisible things. But they are noticed, not by guards, by the system itself. A punishment is delayed. A mistake goes unanswered. For the first time, uncertainty enters the system. And uncertainty is poison. The survivors feel it, like a crack forming in ice. Not enough to break yet, but enough to spread. The nights grow heavier. Wind pushes against the fences harder than before. The dead gather, drawn by light and sound. They press against the walls like reminders. Freedom is right there, just out of reach. Inside, the living hold their breath, because they know the system will respond. It always does. By morning, the survivors understand something irreversible. Obedience has a shape. It is not strength. It is not order. It is not safety. It is fear arranged carefully enough to look permanent. And anything arranged can be undone. Not quickly, not safely, but inevitably. The settlement still stands. The rules still apply. But fear has made its final mistake. It has shown them exactly how it works. And once you understand a monster's shape, you can begin to imagine how to kill it. Night does not fall here. It settles, like dust, like ash, like something that has been waiting patiently all day. The settlement looks different after dark, less organized, less certain. Lights hang too high, casting shadows that stretch and twist across the ground. Fences groan as the wind pushes against them. Metal crying softly like it remembers something better. No one speaks above a whisper, not because of rules, because the dark feels like it's listening. It happens quietly, a simple order, a task meant to humiliate, not harm. And someone hesitates, just long enough to be noticed. Then, no, the word is barely louder than breath, but it lands like a gunshot. Time slows. Even the wind seems to pause. The guards don't react immediately. They don't need to. Everyone knows what that word costs. The person who said it doesn't run, doesn't beg, just stands there, shaking. Not with fear, but with the effort of staying upright. That's when everyone realizes this is a rebellion. It's exhaustion made audible. They are taken away, not dragged, not beaten, led calmly into the dark. That's worse, because imagination fills the gaps. The group is ordered back to their quarters. Lights are shut off one by one. Darkness becomes complete. And in that darkness, the whispers begin. Not plans, not courage, doubt. Who heard it? Who will be blamed? Who will speak next? Fear doesn't just punish defiance. It hunts witnesses. Someone talks, not out loud, not officially. A guard is approached quietly. A sentence offered carefully, not an accusation. A suggestion, a name floated like bait. The betrayal is almost gentle. That's what makes it unforgivable, because it comes from someone who was trusted, someone who ate beside them, someone who whispered names of the dead with them at night. Jack Edwards, Rodney Smith. The memories become weapons now. The punishment is not immediate. That's deliberate. They wait, let paranoia do the work. Then, deep in the night, it happens. Boots on concrete, keys rattling, a door opening somewhere it shouldn't. No one sees what's done. They hear instead, not screams, instructions, calm voices explaining what will happen if this continues. The person who said no returns before dawn. They are alive. That's the message. Alive but empty. They don't speak. They don't look at anyone. They sit in the corner and rock slightly, as if still listening to something no one else can hear. The leader with the bat doesn't appear. He doesn't need to. This punishment was never about him. It was about teaching the group something deeper. Defiance will not destroy you. It will destroy each other. Trust collapses quietly. Eyes stop meeting. Whispers stop altogether. Because silence feels safer than honesty. But the dark remembers everything. The word no doesn't disappear. It echoes lodges and minds, because now they know something dangerous. The system reacts, which means it can be provoked, and provocation is the first step toward collapse. Dawn comes slowly, reluctantly. The settlement wakes as if nothing happened. Orders resume, tasks continue, obedience returns. But it's different now, heavier, more fragile, because everyone understands the truth. Saying no doesn't make you free. It tells the system where it hurts. And one day, someone will be desperate enough to press there again. The night swallowed the first defiance, but it couldn't digest it. And what the dark cannot consume, it eventually spits back out. Every system eventually asks the same question, not out loud, not directly. It asks it through pressure, through repetition, through hunger, through exhaustion. What breaks first? Loyalty or survival? The settlement wakes under a sky the color of ash. No sun yet, just a dim, gray promise that daylight will arrive whether they want it or not. The bells ring, but something is different. They ring longer. People gather, not rushed, not forced. They come because instinct tells them absence will be noted. The open yard feels wider today, too wide. Guards stand farther apart than usual, relaxed, almost bored. That's when it settles in. This isn't a punishment day. This is an evaluation. They are not here to suffer. They are here to be sorted. The man with the bat is absent. That alone tightens throats. Instead, a voice carries from the upper platform. Calm, measured, rehearsed. We've noticed tension. It says, confusion. Divided priorities. The words sound reasonable. Professional. That's how terror matures. No one is struck. No one is dragged away. Instead, rules change. Immediately, food is redistributed, but unevenly. Work assignments are altered, but selectively. Sleeping quarters are rearranged, splitting friends, couples, families. No explanation, just results. People look at each other differently now, not with hatred, with calculation. A woman refuses extra food. She tries to hand it back. A guard smiles and shakes his head. Eat, he says, or someone else won't. That's how the system poisons loyalty. Every kindness becomes a threat. Every shared glance carries risk. People stop helping each other. Not because they don't want to, but because they're being taught that help kills. That night, something spreads. Not news, understanding. They realize there will be no single test, no dramatic moment. The choice is constant, ongoing, invisible. Every action answers a question. Who are you willing to let suffer so you don't? And worse, who are you willing to become? It happens quietly. Someone accepts a privilege they didn't earn. A better place to sleep, a lighter workload, protection. They don't brag, they don't smile, they just don't refuse. And that's enough. Others notice. Resentment grows, but it has nowhere to go because anger here is expensive. Late at night, whispers return. Not plans, stories. Who they were before, who Jack Edwards was, who Rodney Smith was. Speaking their names again feels dangerous. Good. Danger means something is still alive. Morning comes with silence. No bells. No orders. That's worse. People wait, and wait, and wait. Finally, a message. Work will resume when alignment improves. Alignment, a word that means nothing and everything. They isolate someone, not publicly, administratively. Their name disappears from work lists, from food distribution, from sleeping rosters. They still exist, but only barely. A ghost made by policy. No bruises, no screams, just erasure. The message is clear. We don't need to kill you. We can make you irrelevant. Some people harden, others bend, a few fracture. Loyalty breaks in pieces. Survival sharpens into something ugly. But beneath it all, a dangerous realization spreads. The system is afraid of unity. That's why it never attacks directly. A guard hesitates 1 second too long. A rule contradicts another rule. An order is quietly ignored. Tiny errors, human errors. The machine is strong, but not flawless. As night falls again, survivors understand the truth. The system asked its question, and it got its answer. Some broke, some survived, but not everyone chose the same thing. And that difference, that fracture, is where the end begins. The system wanted to know what breaks first. It never considered this, that sometimes what breaks is the system itself. Morning comes late, not because the sun delays, but because no one moves to greet it. The settlement waits. No bells, no shouted orders, no routine to hide behind. Silence spreads like frost. People stand in doorways, eyes searching for permission that never comes. Fear has always spoken first here. Today it doesn't, and that absence is terrifying. The leader wakes before anyone else. He doesn't smile. That's new. The bat rests against the wall, untouched. The room feels smaller than yesterday. For the first time since the system was built, something presses against him. Not danger, uncertainty. Fear was never supposed to hesitate. Fear was supposed to obey. Orders finally come. They don't make sense. Two commands contradict each other. Two guards argue, quietly, then not so quietly. A task meant to isolate instead brings people together by accident. The system stutters. Just once. But that's enough. Because fear only works when it feels perfect. Someone takes advantage. Not openly. They move information, small, precise pieces. Who gets watched? When patrols thin. Which doors creak. The betrayal isn't ideological. It's personal. Someone wants safety. Someone wants revenge. Someone wants out. Fear has taught them how to hurt. Now it's learning what that costs. The system responds the only way it knows how. Isolation, restriction, erasure. But something has changed. People don't look away anymore. They watch. They count. They remember. Fear is being studied. And nothing hates being understood. A punishment is ordered, not violent. Worse, a collective punishment. Food reduced for everyone. Lights cut early. Names read aloud, not accused, just listed. The leader expects obedience. He gets something else. Stillness. Cold. Unified. Intentional. Fear pushes harder. And feels resistance for the first time. It happens in a glance. A look held too long. A jaw that doesn't tighten. A silence that isn't submission. The leader understands. Too late. Fear has done its job too well. It has stripped away loyalty. And loyalty was the last thing holding this together. Control without loyalty isn't control. It's a countdown. Guards question orders. Orders get delayed. Punishments lose precision. Mistakes multiply. Fear starts shouting. And shouting reveals weakness. That night, no one sleeps. Not from terror, but from anticipation. The settlement feels like it's holding its breath. Even the walkers outside press closer, drawn by something they don't understand. The living inside feel it too. A change in pressure. A shift. A door opens it shouldn't. A message reaches ears it wasn't meant for. The betrayal surfaces. Not dramatic. Clinical. Names are confirmed. The leader listens. And for the first time, he doesn't respond immediately. Fear hesitates. Again, a punishment is announced. Final, absolute, and the room doesn't react the way it used to. Someone whispers a name. Jack Edwards. Rodney Smith. Not loudly, but enough. The leader feels something unfamiliar tighten his chest. Not rage, not excitement. Doubt. He sees it now. Fear has crossed a line, and the line doesn't go back. People don't cry. They don't scream. They sit and decide. Some choose survival. Some choose loyalty to each other. Some choose neither. And that's the most dangerous choice of all. Night falls again. But this time, fear is the one listening, watching, waiting. And somewhere deep in the settlement, a truth settles like a blade between ribs. Fear was supposed to end resistance. Instead, it taught them exactly how to destroy it. Fear ruled this place, until it forgot one thing. You can scare people into obedience, But you can't scare them into forever.